Alright, so 150 per motor mount. I got the rear even though I asked for a front, but that's good because the rear I heard is a pita. So that front little cover that's like that with two 17s. It's mostly 17s. Main bolt might be a 17. Well, all the others is 14s. So I'm putting some PB blaster on it. We got trouble. One bolt come out. This next side is spinning, free spinning somehow. Alright, so this is where I'm at. I got my 14 on it, closed down wrench with a little gooseneck, gooseneck wrench. So that way, because you see that cover, it protrudes. Now, I could try and lift it up and swing it out the way. But to be honest with you, I don't want to bend that thing. I could just take the whole mount out together with that on it and then deal with it afterwards. So that's the plan, right? Still got access to the 4 bolts that mount this, that hold the mount to the actual car, K-member, subframe, whatever. So that main bolt going through the middle is for the, what is it, engine block bracket. So I got that crack loose. I'm gonna see if it'll free spin. You know, midway through, I'll get the block of woods together underneath the oil pan. 2 blocks of wood, 2 jacks, try to jack it up evenly, and yeah. Remember, you don't want to jack up the oil pan right on the bulge that you see in front or impression. You want to go in between on the flattermost surface going across. So you don't have to jack up the transmission along with the motor. See that? Breaker bar, 1/2 inch. It's wobble socket or, you know, flex joint, and deep socket 14. Get some leverage. I already cracked the other side loose. There's 4 of these. Now I imagine the ones in the rear are going to be significantly harder. That's why the impact wobble socket, the actual wobble socket, should be great for that, you know. But hey, if I'm able to go like this, then I should be able to like scoot this down back there somehow, even if it's like from this side. So we'll see what's up. So you're telling me 150 for this rear mount because you need a lift. Huh. Look where I'm at. Long ass extension past the brick booster, in between all of this. Hold on. Right down there. And there you go. I'm seated on the bolt right there. I am seated on the bolt. The most hidden bolt, because you got all this stuff in the way. Got you a different angle right there. Boom. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and take this one all the way out. I only cracked the other 3 loose because they were more accessible. This one I'm going to take it all the way out while I have the socket on it. Alright, fine. Time to put some wood under there. So I already got the back bolt taken out. I got this strap down. Never know. I cut some wood pieces. That could be an adapter for that. But I didn't even use it. I just zip tied a couple pieces, cut them up, put them behind the bulge, jack them evenly. And yeah, now it's time to work on that main bolt. Hey, guess what, guys? So being that I already took that 4th hard to reach bolt on the driver's side, and I already cracked the other 3 loose, guess what? So now I kind of broke this main bolt loose with my gooseneck box wrench, and now I have a shallow 14mm on a 3/8 drive. Right? And if you can see, this is like a Stanley or maybe something else. I forgot. And I'm able to go behind here. Yes, I can feel the firewall, but I'm able to get on that bolt. And look, quarter turns, no lift. You need a lift. Now, how long is that bolt gonna be when it comes out? I mean, hopefully when it gets to that point, I can just unthread it with my finger and just pull it out. Alright, so here's what we got going on. Right, I was able to move that swinging out the way since that don't matter. I'm telling you, I done turned this thing like at least like 50 times by now. I adjusted the wood to see if it'll come out a little bit easier. As you can see, it's cracked and frayed, and maybe, just maybe, the middle, oh sorry, that was my hand, the middle might just come off, like, you know, it might just split apart when I take it out. However, you can see now the head of the bolt, I mean, there's no real room to unbolt this thing with a 3/8. You know, I tried from up top. You got all your brake lines there. You don't want to bend anything, so it's like you can only really do like crazy ass quarter turns. I think if I had less tension on that bolt, I'm trying to get less tension, but bro, what is there really to do? This is where you need a ratchet and wrench that has a gooseneck. Because I can't even find my 14 that has a ratchet and wrench. I gotta get me another one now. Alright, so that bolt was like very like torqued until I got about that much out, and then it started to become easier. Trust me. Through this side, or the ratchet going like this, so that way I don't bang my hand against the brake lines. It was very tedious. I must have realigned the jacks underneath about like 10 times. I watched even a couple YouTube videos. They said minimal pressure. You don't need a whole bunch of pressure right now. The jacking up is to like free it once you got the bolt out. And I'm like, okay, whatever. If I gotta support it. I even undid this over here. None of this is moved up. I just undid a couple threads on both sides to see if it would raise. Nothing is moving because, of course, the front has everything locked down shut. So hopefully I don't have to undo the front to get that one to move, because they like symmetrically like right there, and the oil pan is mostly like up here. So you have all this freaking space. I even tried jacking up like where the transmission casing is with a block of wood. No change. That bolt was very torqued. Now it's easy. Now it's time to pull it and see what happened. So that's the size of the rear motor mount bolt. I should have left that heat shield alone. So the main heat shield bolt, if there was one there, I don't know what happened to it. They said it was a third one, but for me it was only two. Yeah, one of them did snap. Guess it was too cold. Should have undid it when everything was all warmed up, but another day. All right, after that, when you get all your mounting bolts out from all around, just double check. Now you can really jack up that oil pan the way it was and beyond that. And as you can see, there's a gap. I took this here and was hitting it, see if it'll shuffle about. You gotta remember, there's a hump behind there that sits up under that, like a little crown that it sits down and cushion on. So, you know, I guess it's trying to clear that little cushion that sits up under here at the end of the mount. Probably have to go up way more than that. Okay, heat shield's out the way. Jacked it up with the service jack, and then adjusted both my scissor jacks to compensate for that jump, so that everything is like spreaded evenly. Transmission is not bothered. You know, I didn't jack it up under there. So now, as you can see, even with this on it, which you could really undo after the fact, you really only need the center bolt and 4 of those. You can actually use that as a handle to get it out. But I get it. Space. I get it. Now, I'm going to have a job to do trying to get this out because, you know, but maybe if it swings around, that little handle swing around, then I'll be okay. As you can see, I guess that's cruise control type stuff. As you can see, I'm coming out right against the header, the slope of the header, and we're good. We're free. Once you get up top here, it's kind of like home stretch. You know, it's nothing twisted to the side, and it's out. Voila. That's what I was talking about the rear. Usually there's like, I guess this one is compressed all the way, and that's why I was hearing a whole bunch of vibration. Because as you can see on this one, I don't got no lift. I'm only using technically one service jack. Technically, really. So I'm gonna jack it up just a little bit more, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get that off. To be honest with you, I think they left it like that so the motor doesn't jump. I'm about to leave that joint on there. you already know me. I'm about to leave that on there, bro, because they probably did that so the motor don't jump. Like if something go bad with this one and it crack or something like that, then that means that all of that bracket is gonna be jumping and hopping and going like this. So they probably put that there as some kind of fail-safe way. Actually, I could get vice grips and try to bite onto that or wedge something over there. Yeah, I'll try it. I'll try. I'm gonna put that back first. That could be like an overnight story. You know, I could deal with that anytime. Yeah. I'm sorry. Time to put this one in. As you know, this one sits back, and this is significantly shorter than the front. It's very smaller. So they sold me a rear, and I thought I got the front, but they sold me a rear and the actual side one. Go back around, make sure you tighten up everything that needs to be tightened. Alright, so for this motor to go up high, I undid those bolts down there, but man, they ain't do nothing. And I hear it creaking like the oil pan is like bending, so I had to stop. But I actually jack up the rear ear of the trans, right? And I had to hurry up and place it and put two of the bolts in there counter-cornered, so that way it could be positioned and steady. Now I'm gonna work on a center bolt. Then after that, put the heat shield back on. And after that, yeah, cool. So it's very tedious work. There's a whole bunch of like that. Think of like gym day for, you know, doing grip, because you have about this much space from the firewall, and you know, you gotta learn how to work that shallow. Pause. I put PB Blaster on it as like a lubricant, anti-rust. I cleaned up some threads. I'm gonna see how bad it is with the exhaust header shield off. You know, like if you got it still jacked up in a sweet spot, you can just take your whole hand over the ratchet and kind of squeeze it, push it down like that. Just watch out for stuff like this that'll cut your skin. So, you know, once you, the same thing for trying to take it off, you still gotta get that sweet spot and then kiss it there. Before somebody write in the comments, you ain't showing us nothing. Look, I'm pushing it with the padding right here. This padding right here, that's what I'm pushing it. Alright, not everybody's hands are the same. Stamina, ratchet work. Other times I had to grab it back here and kind of like work it from down there and watch out for these lines. I'm gonna keep saying that. Watch out for those lines, please. Tedious bullshit. This one should be quite easy. Look, 2 mounting bolts to the frame, 1 center support bolt. All you have to do is move your power steering, pump up the way, support the engine, and that's about it. So let's get to it. I already got the power steering reservoir moved out the way. Oops, I forgot it was there. And all it is like 2 bolts. One and other one on the other side. Could be hiding in a whole lot of grease and grime. And then the main bolt, which I never even tightened. So retighten back just to drive it over here. Oops. Alright, so for this side mount here, you have to get it jacked up, two jacks, not one, to where this part here, this bracket here, raises up and it's almost just a hair under flush, a couple hairs under flush, so that way you can turn this bolt by ease. Once you backed it out, I mean, it should pull right out, but if you can't turn it by hand at that point, you're going to have to put it past the bulge in between the indentation on the back, right there at the flat spot with 2 jacks. This side did most of the pushing up, obviously. So this one is kind of like just a support. So you really only have to jack up one, but try your best to make it even. But if this one feels too tight, just work on that little by little. And then the reason why is you don't see how it moves after you take out those 2 other mountain bolts. It's able to freely move. It's all about the middle bolt now. Alright. And then I could put in a new one. Now, as you can see, I just sprayed some Lysol down there and try to buff it. That way this thing don't be sliding around and stuff. It's still greasy. But otherwise, that's clean-ish. This center bolt is significantly shorter than the mounting bolts that go into the frame. That one's all rusted. I got PB Blaster for that. Other than that, bro, let's take a look at the old one. If your power steering reservoir is out the way, it just slides to the front. That's the part that was hidden. This is the rear. As you can see, it kind of has like a little shape that way and shape this way. So putting them side by side, this is the front. It's a little bit more pointy, and the back is much more rounded. Alright, cool. Okay, so I figured it out. The reason why the pointy, more slimmer side goes to the front is because look at this one. I didn't see that I had a rip until I took it out. So that's the rear. Why don't they tell you what's the rear and what's the front? I have no clue. But alright, cool. I think I'm ready now. So just bolt everything in. And make sure there's nothing in the hole that it mounts to. I'm put some PB Blaster on that front one. That one was corroded like I don't know what. And I always separate the bolts to know which one goes in which hole because of the threads. You never know what was cross-threaded before you got there. So here's what I did. I put my PB Blaster in this hole because the rust was, oh my gosh, crazy. So maybe I could break it down while it's sitting there till tomorrow. And then I put the other one back there in its respective hole. Then I started on the middle. Now, if this looks kind of offset, look, it jiggles, right? The whole mount just jiggles. So you can line up the hole, and once you start tightening this main one first. Now, don't get me wrong, I got the threads started on the 2 that mount into the frame, the unibody to frame. I got those started, a couple of threads to make sure they were seated properly. Now I'm gonna get this one started and tug on it once I get a few turns in to make sure it's true. And then I'll continue to, okay, we're in, I'm pulling on it, it's good to go. I'm gonna tighten this one first, then the other 2, then go around and torque. Don't want to crack this. So where you gonna get another one? When it's tight, you give it that initial leave it alone. those down there, listen, you don't want to get it tighty till it go loosey. So you tight it, give it this little ink, and then you're good. For crying out loud. You got 1, 2, and another mount, 3 other mounts holding everything together. So relax, you're good. You're good, man.